Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 22 of our F123 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back today here for the inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix. Of course, I have done a video around this venue once before, a couple of weeks ago when the game first released. We did a 100% race, didn't I? Driving as Fernando Alonso. That was very, very good fun, and I felt like I learned a lot of the nuances of this circuit. Haven't driven here since though, so we'll wait and see as to how things go here today. But of course, I just want to say as always a massive thank you to all of you for the continued support on this series. You know, getting very, very close now to 110,000 subscribers at the time of recording this, and of course that would not be possible without of all your support. So yeah, massive, massive thank you to everyone for the continued help. If you missed out yesterday's video from the Brazilian Grand Prix, the last sprint race of the season, again, would highly recommend going back and checking that video out as well. Safe to say, without giving away too many spoilers, we've become incredibly lucky, suddenly, inside F123. F122, notoriously for me, was a game I was very unlucky at. But yeah, F123 apparently, just all things are going our way at the moment. Quickly, before I give you any spoilers though, you know, if you're new around here and you are enjoying the F1 My Team content, please make sure you get yourself subscribed. Of course, daily F123 videos until we win the World Championship. So yeah, if that isn't a reason to drop a sub, I don't know what is there. But yeah, in the last 3 Grand Prix, we've scored more points than anyone else. Well, George Russell and I, between us, have scored more points than anyone else there. 50 points between myself and George in the last 2 Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc hasn't managed that. Max Verstappen definitely hasn't managed that. The gap at the top of the table now up to 24 points between Charles and the Dutchman. So this weekend, we could see Charles Leclerc and Ferrari crown themselves as world champions there. Ferrari, constructors-wise, though, still how many? What's the points gap? 11 points between them as we head into this weekend. So it is absolutely critical here in the penultimate race of the season. Of course, Abu Dhabi will be going live tomorrow, but how are we going to fare in the inaugural Vegas Grand Prix? This weekend might have to be a bit of a last question mark challenge here in Vegas. Got some very, very worn out engine components in the car as we jump into free practice. But yeah, I feel like if anywhere you want to do a last question mark, maybe Vegas is going to be the place. Like I said, I have done one race before around this venue, so I do kind of know where I'm going. It's not as much of a step into the unknown as Qatar was a few weekends ago, but that weekend was still very, very good fun. But yeah, let's just see, obviously, what we can do in free practice. I got no idea. Oh, there's a wall there. I've definitely got an idea of that now. But yeah, tyre wear program up first. Just got to be very, very careful. These couple of corners as well that I find so scary around here. It does just feel like you're tipping it in. And the corners, you just don't quite know where the wall is going to be. And then that braking zone is lethal. That will absolutely catch me out at some point during the Grand Prix. But how much time can we claw back then as we head out onto the monstrous back straight? Yeah, this will be one of the best places in the whole of Formula 1, of course. I've already mentioned it before. You can actually hit the limiter around here. We can make back a fair amount of time. They're a good 7-8 tenths of a second. But it's not going to be enough to get a purple score first time round. We're definitely, again, a bit like Qatar, going to have to put more of an emphasis on practice. So apologies for those of you that don't want to see that. Timestamps, of course, linked down below. But yeah, we've got to be making sure that we're dialed in and also comfortable and happy. Second run then, and I mean this one, look at that. We pretty much went straight to purple and never looked back. This time, 4 tenths clear as we get in towards the final corner. Not much of a corner, of course, but there we go. Purple score. A perfect way to start as Aaron running P2. No one else has done a lap, but still. And this as well, I've got to mention, I think will be his last ever Grand Prix with the team. Because, of course, we'll have to make a driver signing before Season 2 still, which is a bit dumb, but we're going to have to roll with it. Right, ERS practice program up next. As I've mentioned many times before, effectively it's a qualifying lap, just without the battery usage, so we're really going to try and smash it. Hopefully we can try and learn more about the limitations of the car as well around this venue when we're pushing turn 2. Hate this corner. I just cannot seem to find a line that works there, and the AI definitely can, losing 8 tenths immediately. I'm not convinced this one's going to be doable. Yeah, I'm not convinced on this one, game, to be honest. I mean, we saw how competitive the straight line speed was in the tyre wear run. Now I'm losing tons of speed down the straight, so I think we might have to abandon the ERS program. So difficult down here, just trying to get the car wedged over the curbing. Ow. And that's exactly why. We'll go get a new front wing, and I think we'll dive into the race sim. Right, well, I've also decided to experiment and remove a load of wing from the car as well. Hopefully it's going to mean we're way more competitive down the straights. And yeah, Vegas is a weird little circuit where it kind of is a bit like Baku, in that a lot of it is obviously very, very high speed, but a lot of the corners are very low speed, so you kind of just have to drag the car through. You can see now immediately how much more we're sliding around there, as still 1.2 seconds down through the first couple of corners alone. That is rather impressive. Right, so we're 2.1 seconds down then as we head out onto the back straight. How much of that time can we claw back? No chance we're going to be able to do the race sim run either here, looking at this, and we're barely clawing any time back either. I mean, now that delta's starting to go down a little bit more. Just, can you reach VMAX? No, you can't reach VMAX without some slipstream still, apparently. But yeah, only 0.6 gained back then, so I don't actually reckon lower downforce is the way to go here. What I'm probably going to have to do then, slap a load of extra wing on, and sort of see, because I felt way more comfortable with it. But yeah, I think free practice here might need a few tweaks, EA. But I think we just got to try and get on in with qualifying. Right, we'll jump in immediately then into qualifying here in Vegas. And yeah, all over the back of Max Verstappen, I think he's just coming to the end of his first lap. Tried to give him a bit of slipstream, or the AI tried to anyway. But hopefully he's going to try and get out of my way. And I forgot to put fresh components in. I am so stupid. No wonder we're struggling quite a bit around this venue. So yeah, well, I think most definitely going to be starting at the back then from this race. And that's probably because I'm going to qualify there as well, as that is an interesting place to get out of the way, Max. Still losing time through these first couple of corners. Just have no confidence through turn 2. But let's just try and get a first lap on the board. See where we rank. I keep forgetting where the DRS zone is around the back straight. I mean, if you watch me closely, the amount of times I just go like that to try and press the DRS button is getting a little bit alarming there, as 7/10 away from Logan Sargent as we make it down the back straight. Let's just try and find the braking marker just for the 100-meter board. Take plenty of curb on the entry and on the exit there. That corner as well, horrible. There's just a slight lip on the apex as you make your way through the final corner. But where are we going to put ourselves then at the end of the first run at the final corner? We go P20. P21 as Nick de Vries improves behind us. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be another track that does not suit us. Gearing up then, ready to start our final run here in Q1. We're not too far away from a lot of the other cars just in front. Aaron, you know, potential final Grand Prix, really wants to prove himself to other teams. 2.6 seconds slower than myself after the first lap there. I thought he was only a few tenths away, but no. I failed to notice the extra 2 seconds he'd lost. But anyway, let's try and go for a real push lap then here around the Vegas circuit. Braking just at the 100-meter board into turn 1 there, taking way more curve that time round than I really wanted to. Got to really ease on the throttle through turn 2 there, keep it in 4th gear and try and ride the throttle as early as you can on the exit. Compromise my line ever so slightly, so maybe Max Verstappen wasn't as much of a hindrance as I thought. Brake just for the 100-meter board again at turn 4. Oh, a lot of understeer that time, slap the wall, and this corner as well, so difficult. I'm using that little tyre marking in the middle of the road, but not getting the car where I needed it that time around there as we run a little bit wide. You just see lap already starting to get away from me just a little bit. Nice and easy on the throttle there. That'll find us a tenth or so back in the green. And we'll make our way through these horrible 290-degree, the left swing for the right there. Get the car back over to the right-hand side again. Oh, again, just scuff the wall. This is not helpful. And we get a horrible run out into the back straight as well, so we're going to lose even more time here. So we head down in towards the final couple of corners. So this has really not been a lap to remember. Max Verstappen currently fastest then. It is last chance for the Dutchman this weekend. He needs a Grand Prix victory here. He needs to roll the dice. There's going to be so many gambling metaphors this weekend in the commentary, or at least I'm going to try to. But anyway, through the final corner, all the cliches are going to come in. 4 tenths down though on my previous lap. This has been a really disappointing first qualifying here in Vegas. Yeah, just not able to get it hooked up where I needed. There we go then. Max Verstappen, 4 thousandths of a second clear of his old rival Lewis Hamilton at the end of Q1. Esteban Ocon up in P3. Albon, 7th place there, 2 tenths away. Go on, Alex. Love to see that. Of course, a driver that could very much be coming to our team ready for next season. Aaron did improve. He's now only 1.2 seconds behind me, but we're going to put a fresh engine then in the back of the car. Half a second covering the top 16 there come the end of qualifying, Q1 anyway, so fresh engine, going to give us some more ponies, and hopefully we can try and make a difference. Quickly, before we jump into today's video, I'm happy to announce that I'm going to be attending the British Grand Prix next weekend on race day Sunday. A massive thank you to a new partner in Moonrise Sports. They're actually hosting a lottery-style giveaway over on their website where you can win 2 race day tickets to the Grand Prix as well. So if you haven't been able to pick up a ticket yet, it costs £2 to enter, and 25% of the proceeds will be going to the Race Against Dementia charity. So you're supporting a good cause in the process, and yeah, if you want a good chance at winning Grand Prix tickets, this is probably one of the best places to go. The competition ends on the 4th of July, so like I said, I'll leave a link down in the description, and yeah, I would definitely recommend checking it out, and a massive thank you to them.
Welcome along to Las Vegas. It's Viva Las Vegas tonight, as for the first time ever, the Formula One cars are racing along the strip. I can't wait to see what this place has in store for F1 tonight. 17 corners, 3 straights, 2 DRS zones, and the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas as we race around the 3.8 miles of Sin City. The strip has been taken over to become a straight tonight, commanding top speeds of around 212 miles an hour. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. It's Carlos Sainz in pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Stroll, Oscar Piastri, Verstappen, Leclerc, Albon, Ocon, Joe, Bottas, De Vries, Magnussen, Sargent, the reserve driver, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, and Mr. Monaco. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today.
And they can do it for sure, as long as they don't dwell too much on the position. At the end of the day, there's only one way to go racing, and that's to give it everything you've got. Either your best is good enough to stay in the hunt, or it's not. There's no point giving any less than 100%.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Right, well here we are then, on the grid, ready for the Las Vegas Grand Prix, and even more drama then, as looks like Charles Leclerc taking some grid penalties here. Max Verstappen, has he now got an outside chance at that crown once again there, of course? Not many drivers have won 3 World Championships in a row in Formula 1. Juan Manuel Fangio, Michael Schumacher, Sebastian Vettel, and Lewis Hamilton. Max would join a very, very exclusive club of, yeah, 3 in a row winners. But we're going to try 2 stop today then. It doesn't really reckon it's any slower than the 1 stop, and to be honest, often if that's the case, it's a little bit faster. In terms, though, we're going to try and take those mediums, maybe 1 or 2 extra laps there. 7 laps on soft, 10 on mediums, and then an 8-lap soft run to finish us off. Pretty much the same strategy as we ended up implementing in Brazil, but Vegas, I'm excited. This one's going to be crazy, and we're starting this race on a corner. We're getting ready then to line up on the grid, and I completely failed to notice as well, of course, Charles Leclerc starting P10, Verstappen only in 9th, so both of them are going to be trying to fight their way through. It's going to all be a bit of a dice roll today here in Vegas, but waiting then on those 5 red lights for the inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix. Is lights out, and away we go there. Clearly the AI not a fan of trying to start this Grand Prix on a corner. I mean, look at that already. Cars 3 wide as we head down in towards turn 1. I'm going to try and send it to the inside of Yuki Tsunoda, and more importantly get around our teammate Aaron Barnes, as we will find our way through then immediately up into P18 off the start, as we're still almost 3 wide there. I think Tsunoda got a little bit pinched in the middle, and Aaron Barnes hangs on to P19 then as we head down in towards turn 3 to Freeze and Sargent Side by side in front. Oh, I thought about it. Thought about trying to send it to the inside of the pair from there, but everyone trying to find a way through off the start. Looks like Charles Leclerc has made no real progress. We'll have to wait and see where Verstappen might end up again. Thought about it. Go on, Aaron Barnes. Get your elbows out, mate. Try and go for it. I'd love to see it happen. Won't be long before he's 30 seconds behind the rest of the field this afternoon. But yeah, looks like Verstappen actually hasn't made any progress either. Perez losing out a lot of ground at the start of this race as well. Of course, out now of the championship fight. So we make our way down. Just careful of all the concertina and up on lap 1. But yeah, we've kept it clean and tidy. We've made 4 places up off the start here of the Vegas Grand Prix. So I guess we can't complain all too much about that. Make our way then down this back straight. Are we going to be able to try and get a run on Nick de Vries? We are gaining. 218, 270 miles an hour to the outside. Pretty even on the brakes there with the Dutchman. Try and give him the room, but we'll have the inside for the next corner. Hop over that curb, and we'll be through then, up 5 spots by the end of lap 1 here. So Carlos Sainz still, of course, leading the way at the front. Sargent in hot pursuit. Kevin Magnussen just in front of him, still yet to score a career point is Logan Sargent, but maybe that could change today in his final home Grand Prix of the season. Right, we're heading back out then onto the back straight, all over the back of Logan Sargent, but again, we know how good that Williams is top end wise. Feel like until we've got the DRS, he might be a much more difficult person to navigate than the Alpha Tauri was. That Aaron Barnes already causing a bit of a train further back, as Magnussen and Zhou Guanyu side by side down at the end of the straight there. Big kick of oversteer. Just to correct it, but it's going to concertina up. So we head down in towards the final corner. George Russell now into the lead of the race, so he hasn't even had to wait for the DRS errors. Is that Verstappen and Charles Leclerc side by side? We're going to get to the inside of the homeboy. And the inside of Logan Sargent will go in. Yes, it is Charles Leclerc and Verstappen duking it out then for 8th and 9th place. Oscar Piastri just waiting in the wings as we're still side by side with Sargent at 2. Bang up against the wall there off the corner, but we'll have the DRS on him. Didn't realise, of course, that the track slightly ebbs over to the left-hand side. That is late on the brakes. Oh, we just about gather it up, but Sargent will hold on to the place. That was scary. DRS now enabled then. Oh, someone's going slowly. Zhou Guanyu's got issues. Zhou Guanyu, the first retirement then of the Las Vegas Grand Prix as we head out onto the back straight. I mean, this is just going to get more and more dramatic as everyone trying to close in on each other. 226 miles an hour down the inside of 1. They're 3 wide in front of me. Oh, this just looks like an absolute mess waiting to happen. Bottas trying to get down the inside of everyone as well there, as concertinaing up horrendously through the final couple of corners. But we've seen just how ridiculous the slipstream can be on this game there. Zhou Guanyu, our first casualty. I mean, there's still a ginormous scrap going on for the final point-paying position inside the top 10. So Alex Albon, Esteban Ocon there. I think Ocon has just about made that move work again, but as long as Albon stays within a second, he'll just get straight back past it, won't he? Down the back straight there. We need to try and work out how we can safely get a run on the other cars this time. I mean, Hamilton surely will be looking at this, seeing all these slower cars and thinking, what on earth am I meant to do? You can't read a situation like this in the world of Formula 1 very well. There is Sainz and Russell still battling out at the front, but I mean, yeah, Gasly still running in P3 here early on. Lando Norris up in 4th place there, as Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen have now finally broken free. We're just going to try and be patient. 222 miles an hour down the back straight that time. But we do want to start trying to pick cars off again. Definitely feel like the last few Grand Prix have built up a lot of confidence on the game, as Russell another new fastest lap. Let's see what we can try and do then this time round, but I already feel like we're reaching quite a big strategic problem in this Grand Prix with how ridiculous the slipstream train is. I mean, I wonder what VMAX is in this car at the moment then. 224, 225, 226, 227 miles an hour there as we ping off the limiter. I think that might be the quickest I've gone inside F1 23 so far. How quick could a maxed out car be on this game with no wing? We could genuinely, on my record still is from F1 2016, I clocked 241 miles an hour back on that game. We might legitimately be able to beat that in F1 23. Oh, we can see Lewis Hamilton now is the car behind me. Nick de Vries has dropped out of that DRS range, and well, Aaron Barnes has resumed his normal position then, apparently in this GP. But yeah, we can't do anything. This is hilarious. I'm completely stuck at the moment, as now Oscar Piastri tries to go for a move on Alex Albon. They're still side by side off the corner, and as soon as I say that, are we now going to get an opportunity to try and make some progress here? Down the inside of Sargent will go as we make our way in towards the final corner kink. Sargent tries to come across me. Magnussen, luckily, will jump back over to the racing line off the corner, so we'll get a window down the inside of him. Team on us pitting in, though, at the end of this lap as well. Look at the oversteer that we're dealing with. We have taken a lot out of these tyres early on here, just trying to push on as best as possible. But Sargent, is he now going to get a run on me? So we head down the next straight. No, he's not. Oh, I got no idea. I broke way too early. I was looking at the 100-metre ball rather than the 150. Can we still stay around the outside of Sargent, though? Try and get the throttle down off the corner. Oh, Sargent just about slammed the door. We'll get back down the inside, though. Big lock-up on the way in. That is an aggressive move, but we pulled it off. There's now Piastri starting to drop away from Ocon. Don't know now whether Piastri is in the range of the cars in front of him, because this could open up an opportunity for Bottas, Magnussen and myself then as we head out onto this boulevard once more. Bottas now looking immediately to the outside then of Oscar. Kevin Magnussen, I'm sure, as well, will sense an opportunity. They're going again too wide. Bottas has just about got in front. Oh, tyres, though, are completely gone there. I don't know how we got that stopped. Pretty much turned him into a 50-pence piece, but out of the final corner, we're going to pin into the pit lane then. So has one of the Red Bulls. I think that might be Checo into the pits. I forgot where I need to brake. Same about there. We've done alright there. So, yeah, it is myself and Perez then that are into the pit lane. He's gone on to a set of mediums as well. So, same strategy for us. Yuki Tsunoda as well. So, all three of the Red Bull powertrain cars into the pits. Don't know why Aaron's joined us, but clearly didn't want to feel left out. But now, we've got to really push on and try and potentially get the undercut on Ocon and Albon, because of course we're going to have to pit again before the end of this. One thing I am getting slightly nervous about as we get towards half distance this afternoon, the fuel usage. We seem to be a little bit more thirsty than I'd originally anticipated. I can't remember how much extra fuel we put in the car at the start of this thing, but we might need to start lifting and coasting late on this afternoon. Still trying to push on at the moment, as it's probably only a lap or two before the AI peel into the pit lane. But we should hopefully get quite a big undercut on a lot of cars. But yeah, we're really going to have to fuel save in the second half here. There we go, first cars into the pit lane though at the end of lap 12. So pretty much now, well, we're about to cross over half distance, aren't we, here in Vegas. And we've done pretty well in the first stint there. Charles Leclerc and Verstappen both still lurking around in the midfield, so really have not had the weekend either of them would have wanted. But I mean, it very likely means that this championship fight could drag on to the finale in Abu Dhabi there. Verstappen kicking and screaming, refusing to give up just yet on his championship aspirations once more. But hopefully we can try and get round Hulkenberg this lap, because his tyres are much more worn than mine. Yeah, Hulk's tyres are absolutely gone. This should be quite an easy move when all is said and done, as we are definitely going to try and save fuel towards the end of this thing around the outside of Hulkenberg. And we will now be up then into P9 of this race. Still a few, well, yeah, everyone in front of me still needs to pit. So we're actually going to be in quite a good position here for a short little period. Of course, going to have to really try and push on in the second half of this race as well. But yeah, really getting that line nailed over those curbs. So we're temporarily going to be about P4, I think, in this Grand Prix there, as I think Lando Norris having an absolute worldie of a Grand Prix as well. Look how close he is to the race leaders, as it is the battle of the number twos at the front of the field there. Sainz versus Perez. Perez, of course, has got to make a two-stop here, but remember, still such little between Red Bull and Ferrari in the constructors that this could be absolutely critical. Sainz trying to have a look back around the outside of Sergio Perez, and I don't think he's pulled it off. Well, I can't believe we're saying this, but with less than 10 laps to go, Lando Norris is duking it out for the lead of the Las Vegas Grand Prix here. He's often gone well around new Formula 1 circuits in the past, and could McLaren finally get another moment in the sun here? Of course, won quite a lot in my F122 career mode, but yeah, still yet to see all those wins, of course, in the real life sport. Gasly, Alonso still a few seconds behind myself, but yeah, I mean, Norris surely just wants to try and hang on in the DRS's sights until the very last lap. We're going to box probably the end of next lap, but I've got no idea where we could be in this race still come the end. Here comes Fernando Alonso. We denied him of a podium last weekend, and I'm sure a Spaniard in just his penultimate Formula 1 Grand Prix. Would love to deliver a mega result here. I mean, at the moment, he's on for a podium in Vegas as Perez is going to peel into the pit lane once again then. Lando Norris, though, to the lead of the race, battling once again with his former McLaren teammate there. We're all over the back of Alonso. Okay, Fernando Alonso, new fast lap of the day. Absolute scenes going on at the moment. It's McLaren's past, McLaren's future, all going at it as Pierre Gasly now all over the back of me. There's Max Verstappen showing up on the relative, so clearly he's made a bit more progress as Charles Leclerc still running in 7th place just behind him. I think I'm about to be a bit of a sitting duck as we head out onto the straight once again then. Gasly and Verstappen now both going to be breathing down my neck. Here's just going to try and stay over on the right hand side and keep out of the way. There goes Pierre. And Verstappen is not actually going to get to me then, so clearly the Dutchman trying to save a little bit of battery. Maybe he knows, of course, that we're peeling into the pit lane at the end of this lap. We are now pretty much neutral on fuel as well, so that's going to make our lives even more difficult then, as Verstappen, I wondered for a second if he was trying to peel into the pit lane as well directly behind me, but into the pits will come then as Charles Leclerc down to P8 there, so that's not going to do him any favours late on in the day. And I haven't told the team to change the wing. Don't know whether it would have been worthwhile or not late on this afternoon, but out of the points we go once again. We are pretty much still going to be at the rear of the field by the time we head back out. P19 here at the moment, but we are not far behind a lot of cars on fresher, quicker tyres. A lot can still change. Still going to change immediately. Hulkenberg down the inside and de Vries, and it looks like the Haas would have pulled off the move. Very, very slow start to the evening for Nico, but he's on a fight back, just like me. Hulkenberg and de Vries, though, still duking out as the Dutchman found the way around the German again on the back straight. So perhaps this is why Nico's getting so stuck this afternoon. We went purple through the final sector, despite the fact I wasn't actually pushing. Funnily enough, I tried to lift off and save a bit of fuel through there, but need to try and get around these two as soon as possible at the moment. We're actually going to get quite a good run here as Hulkenberg to the outside. That works perfectly. To the inside, 3 wide. As we head down in towards the next corner. Oh, Hulkenberg, the bravery there to just turn in on me and to get the car slowed up. But Nick de Vries, I mean, that was Ricardo Zonta style on the AlphaTauri driver. But yeah, we've got to try and save some fuel, but we've got to get around Nico. Trying to short shift a little bit to see whether we can save some fuel as well, but I'm just having to try and do a big lift when we get down the end of this straight then, so I don't even know whether we can like half throttle it or something like that, but we're around Nico Hulkenberg. Of course, I still want to try and score points in this race. That's the other big thing we've got to worry about. The lifting out about 100 metres before the braking zone does save us a bit of fuel, and he's keeping us pretty much there or thereabouts. Next up, Bottas, as we have really caught back up to this huge train of cars that we were battling with early on, so this 2-stop has been a good call. Over the back of Valtteri Bottas then as we wind our way through these S-bends again. 2 cars side by side up in front, but we're going to look down the inside of the Alfa Romeo car, just about slot in front by the time we get out of the corner. And now, again, I feel like we're going to get quite trapped quite quickly there. Lando Norris, little update, 5 laps to go, is still leading this race. Surely McLaren are sensing the opportunity and Lando could become our 8th winner of the season as 3 wide almost just in front of me. I need to lift off. I've gone down the inside of Sargent. Oh, that was a touring car style move. Logan, I'm so sorry. I got no idea how we got away with no damage there. Magnussen as well has been navigated off the corner, but yeah, Sargent, I did kind of just bully him out of the way. George Russell on a wrecked set of the hard compound tyres. Now it's going to be easy prey for us as we make our way down the back straight then, try and get back to the racing line. Just about there makes such a big difference as Oscar Piastri, 11th place for the Australians. So Albon's still in that final points making position, but he's a long, long way up the road as here comes George, back down the inside. Luckily we can hop over the curbs and hang on. 2 wheels were inside the white line, so it was fair. Hamilton then to the outside of Oscar Piastri. We head down the straight once more. I mean, how many times have we just watched cars go past each other down this straight? Certainly going to make moves quite predictable in the real Vegas Grand Prix, but you know, if it promotes some good racing, I'd rather have too many overtakes than not enough still. Has always been my mantra. It's just a shame the way Formula 1 has to do it at the moment, but Albon's starting to drop back then, so it could be a battle between Lewis and I for the final point here. I mean, from the back of the grid, I'd be very, very happy with that. I didn't think we had much pace this weekend. And I wonder, I mean, Hamilton is starting to take a fair chunk of time out of Alex Albon late on in the day. Do we just get behind the Merc and then just save fuel in the final couple of laps here, and then obviously try and get Hamilton and Albon right at the end? I mean, now Oscar and I both closing in on Lewis Hamilton, who's going to swing defensive. We're just going to look to the outside then. The pair of them try to lift a tiny bit. I got no idea. Oh, it's Lewis that's kept the nose down the inside. Well, we'll just about be able to make it round him then. 3 seconds up to Albon. 3 laps to go. But we are also 0.03 laps under on fuel. That's now gone up, so it ruined my little metaphor. Okay, this battle is definitely still on. Need to try and get inside the DRS of Albon as soon as possible. Hamilton now is stuck behind Oscar Piastri again, so I don't think we're going to have to worry about the Merc unless something really bad happens. But I want to get in the DRS range this lap, save the fuel, and then go for it on the final lap here. That, I think, is going to have to be our strategy. Almost 0.1 laps under on fuel now. This is going to get tight. We've just about got inside the DRS range of Alex Albon then. So we head out onto the straight once more. Again, like I said, I'm not looking for a move this time. I want to get as close to him as I can and then start lifting off incredibly early down the end of the straight. Make sure I don't lose the 1 second zone to the Williams there. Is probably lifting off about 350 metres out. You can see how much fuel we've saved, though, in the process. That is absolutely critical here. Big lifts, big blends of throttle wherever we can now. We know how powerful the slipstream is here. Lando Norris, on the final lap of the Las Vegas Grand Prix, is still leading this thing. But will Sainz... Yes, Sainz has got round him again, but that might not be such a bad thing for Lando. He might be able to come back at Sainz through the other section of the circuit, of course, as we make it back round in towards the final couple of corners. We've stayed inside the range of Albon just in front of me, so hopefully again we can try and big lift as we get down in towards the next braking zone there, lifting off like twice the distance from the braking zone once more. But Lando Norris, he just needs to stay close. He needs to hope that the battery pack is charged up and that he can do something against Carlos Sainz here. It's a little bit wide for me. We're going to bobble over that curb again, but we'll get away with it. Huge snap of oversteer, though, as will we see Lando Norris try and make the move then on Carlos Sainz on the final lap of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. The Spaniard has already won races before this season, but Lando Norris, I think he's looked to the inside of Carlos at the front of the field, and I think he might, as long as he gets it slowed down, I think he's pulled off the move. Carlos Sainz, I'm sure, is gutted. Ferrari devastated as well, I'm sure, in the process there. But Lando Norris heads up towards the final corner. He looks like he's going to win the Las Vegas Grand Prix. We've got our own battle still going on with Alex Albon here. Surely we can try and get to the inside of him. McLaren are back on top once again. Save the fuel, Matt. Save the fuel as we get down in towards the chicane there. Just park it. Sit on the apex as we make our way through the final corner. And now we just got to mash the throttle. Pray that the fuel doesn't run out at the wrong time. We're into low fuel mode. The car's given out, but I think we've done enough. And we are going to score a point in the Vegas Grand Prix.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
And with that, another year of Formula One draws to a close and a new World Drivers' Champion is declared. Another entry added to that prestigious list of the sport's most incredible drivers. And in the heart of the Nevada desert, they take the checkered flag to win the Las Vegas Grand Prix. They've hit the jackpot and will be celebrating long into the night. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving that they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track. Let's review the driver's standings. And this also means there's no catching our leader anymore. And we crown a new World Drivers' Champion. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari take the lead at the top of the table. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Las Vegas Grand Prix, and I was so engrossed watching that battle between Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz there. Charles Leclerc must have completed a last lap move on Max Verstappen to crown himself world champion as well, locked himself onto the podium. It was a very late race strategy from Charles and Max to try and get back to the front, but poor old Fernando Alonso left high and dry right at the end there, a 5th place finish for him. Beats out Gasly, Perez, Ocon, Stroll and myself inside the top 10 there, but yeah, 4 different teams have won the last 4 Grand Prix in this series. What does that tell you about how exciting Formula 1 is at the moment there? Zhou Guanyu, our only retirement this weekend, and yeah, I think now we can say goodbye to Aaron Barnes as well, so certainly I'm not going to miss him. But yeah, there we go, 26 points, the gap at the top of the table. Verstappen could still tie it all up in Abu Dhabi, but for Charles Leclerc, I mean, he's got more wins, hasn't he? So Max Verstappen, yeah, you could tie with him on points, but it'll make no difference there. Count back. It is all done for Charles Leclerc, and he is a first-time Formula 1 World Champion. I mean, I probably would have put up the POV of him as well in the battle there, because that was absolutely insane. Yeah, what a crazy end to the Vegas Grand Prix. Constructors-wise, though, Ferrari back on top, 3 points in it as we head into the finale tomorrow in Abu Dhabi. So it's all still to play for them. Constructors-wise, we could still theoretically jump Alpine there, but we are locked up and safe ahead of Haas, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I mean, there's 44 points available, so they'd have to get a 1-2. But that would then also guarantee that they beat us, because they would have had a win and a 2nd place. I don't think we're going to see a Haas 1-2, but we also probably didn't think we'd see McLaren and Lando Norris winning this race, so anything can happen still in this series. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will be back very, very soon when Formula 1 returns for our championship finale out in Abu Dhabi. Red Bull versus Ferrari, 3 points in it. That is going to be dramatic. I thought it would only be fair to have a quick proper look back then at the move that crowned Charles Leclerc world champion. Like I said, too busy watching the battle going on between Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz at the front of the field. But yeah, Charles Leclerc at the moment, live championship update, the gap would be 23 points as we head into Abu Dhabi, so it would not be wrapped up just yet. But Max Verstappen, as he winds his way through this middle sector, one Ferrari at the front of the field is about to lose a place. The other one is clearly about to gain one here. I kept saying you did not want to be the car in front as you made it out onto the back straight for the final time. You can see as he picks up the DRS, Max Verstappen, is he going to try and go defensive? He knows how much is at stake there. Charles Leclerc to the outside of the Dutchman, but there's just too much speed. Max Verstappen can do absolutely nothing to defend from him there as he gets to the end of the braking zone. He can't even try to sling one back down the inside there, and Charles Leclerc, in a move that, like I said, I completely missed out of the final corner, up towards the start-finish line, Charles Leclerc will crown himself world champion, and he can go into Abu Dhabi with nothing to worry about personally. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.